Lore Olympus dares to be different. That's the answer. That's what you clicked onto the video for, right? I mean, naturally I'm going to elaborate and explain what I mean, but for those of you who neither know nor care who I am, there you go. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe on your way out. Still here? Great. What's cracking, guys? Samuel607 here, throwing at you day 4 of Webtoon week, and today we're looking at Webtoon's most popular title, Rachel Smythe's Lore Olympus. Boasting nearly 6 million subscribers, over 1 billion views, and well over 100,000 likes per episode, merely calling it successful would be a huge disservice. Leading the platform in just about every mensurable category, it has topped the charts of Webtoon for a length of time now, with nothing outside of Unordinary coming particularly close. And here's how. Key to success 1. It doesn't use original characters. Now, this might sound like an indictment, but hear me out. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman. Those are some of the most popular characters ever written. Their fame is far-reaching, and it would be harder to find someone who hasn't heard of any of them than someone who has. Despite the passing of many of their creators, stories of their exploits continue to be told, and they continue to rake in millions for their respective IP holders. Why? Because everyone knows them, everyone loves them, everyone wants more of them. Lore Olympus, unlike most works of independent authors, doesn't create its own cast. It doesn't try to convince us that we should fall deeper into love with people we hardly know than those we've grown accustomed to. It gives us something we're familiar with, something we're comfortable with. It gives us what we want. For any of you who haven't yet had the opportunity to read Lore Olympus, I'll elaborate. The cast is comprised of the gods of Greek myth, and the tagline reads, "Witness what the gods do after dark." See where I'm going with this? The story follows the tragic Hades, king of the underworld, in his pursuit of the young, innocent, and unwise Persephone, goddess of spring. And just as with our cape-wearing do-gooders, we're suckers for new takes on old concepts. Understanding this, Lore Olympus plays into our curiosity, brings our fantasies to life, and opts to add pages to a beloved age-old story instead of toiling to scrap together something new. Which brings us to key to success number 2, an unoriginal story and clickbait. I know, I need to stop making it sound so bad, but let's talk about this stroke of marketing genius. What are some of the other highest-ranking webtoons on the platform? Unordinary, The Remarried Empress, Let's Play, and let's toss Down to Earth in there. Each of them crafts their own unique story and obstacles. They stand as the accounts of their heroes' exploits, telling us what we need to know only when we need to know it. Beyond this, they each have a short, memorable title, one that rolls off the tongue and uniquely relates itself to the story in no more than a few words. These are, by every stretch of the imagination, the correct things to do. But Lore Olympus fails at the first and barely scrapes by with the second. In using the Greek gods as characters, it becomes impossible to withhold any particularly relevant information from the audience. We already know of the promiscuity of Zeus, the relationships between the gods, and the fates of the characters, so the question then becomes, why should we even bother reading? That's it. That question right there is where Lore Olympus wins. It piques the curiosity of its prospective readers. As a YouTuber, albeit small and unsuccessful, I understand better than most that no matter how good you believe your content is, it's all meaningless if no one clicks on it. Rachel Smythe shares that understanding and clickbaits you. From the matter-of-factly title that is Lore Olympus, phrased well enough and containing such relevant keywords that researches into genuine Olympian lore are likely to happen upon it, to the webtoon blurb of the comic boldly professing it to be, and I quote, one of mythology's greatest stories as it's never been told before. Lore Olympus succeeds about as well as possible at goading you into giving it a cheap click. And again, I mean this as no insult. This approach is about as brave a gamble as it gets and is all contingent on one thing: the execution. Yes, we know what happens and who all the people are, but much of their dialogue is new to us. Their personalities we find interesting and engaging, and we find ourselves wondering just how exactly these almighty beings get themselves in and out of so much trouble with one another. It's like a movie that begins with a flash forward. We all know where it's going but can't wrap our heads around how it gets there. This is one of those situations where it really is all about the journey, and the fact that the story's popularity has been maintained for such a length of time can only mean that it's a really good one. The source of the appeal is Clickbait. For all the might the gods possess, and the boundless arrogance that accompanies, they too hold not power over their own hearts, and must learn to navigate the intricacies of their societies, hierarchies, and infidelities. Key to Success 3. A distinct image. Unlike the prior two, you can likely understand immediately why this is a good thing. It cannot be forgotten, cannot be mistaken for anything else, and stands out almost to a fault. Lore Olympus has an art style that sets it apart from everything else. I'll be the first to admit that stood as a barrier to entry for me and has been the case with many things in the past. I like things that look normal. I grew up watching anime and reading manga, so I don't consider myself the target audience for anything that veers a certain distance away from the norm. This is certainly true for many others and maybe some of you, and it's also what makes this choice of art style daring. Deciding to be different means limiting your potential audience. Think of it like leaving America to go to a third world African country to start up your business. There is far less competition, so you know you're going to get off the ground, but the market is limited, so you're unlikely to ever truly see substantial success. That's the route this story chose, and that should have been the outcome it got. But what happened? Why did it break through to the top? Because everyone who did see it loved it. The country may have been small comparatively, but if you have all of the people to yourself, that's a lot more than the shares everyone you left back home got after they divvied everything up. Even if you weren't, or still aren't, a fan of webtoons as a whole, you may have stumbled upon this comic that reminded you of the books that were read to you as a child, only to discover that it was something far more mature than even you could enjoy. The art may be different, but it's by no means inferior. A story about gods cannot have them depicted as you would mere men, so it only makes sense that the art would have to live up to that, and it does. It's absolutely mesmerizing. From the deeper glances into the psyches of the characters provided to us by the symbolism present in the characters, to the rich land and cityscapes representing the settings of Greek myth that stand as allegories of Smythe's views on current human society, Lore Olympus is tied together, if not all around elevated, by its masterful depictions. It is the #1 webtoon because time and again it dares to be different. Now, for the hardest part of every one of these videos, do I recommend you read Lore Olympus? Honest answer, for my existing audience, I'd have to say no. You guys really aren't who it was meant for. If you liked everything I said about it, though, then be my guest. Don't let my assumptions stop you. I do think that it is genuinely captivating, though not on a slavery level this time. As for my score, before I reveal what it is, I should admit that I've only read a few dozen chapters so far, as much as I needed to make this video. Thus, if it gets a better or worse mark with time, I don't know, but I'm proud to award Lore Olympus a supple 83 out of 100 marks, 607 thumbs up. As always guys, thanks for watching this video through to the end. I really hope you've been enjoying Webtoon Week. Between the increased editing, prep time, and research, getting all these videos ready has taken much longer than my upload schedule would suggest, so I'd really appreciate it if you could support me over at patreon.com/samyx607 so I can upload higher quality videos more consistently. If you aren't in a position to do that, however, rest assured it's free and goes just as long a way to like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, and comment why down below, for the criticism helps me grow. Subscribe if you wish to be notified about my future content, and as always guys, this has been Samyx607 logging out.